Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am.
I suppose Nisha madam did not join, ma'am. నేను ధనుంజయ్ మాట్లాడుతున్నాను. I'm Dhanunjay.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, she's going to join within a minute. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I
Ma'am,
hope I'm not late for the session.
background is dark. Your face is not clear. Dark.
Background keeps saying is dark. Background, how do we adjust? Ma'am, is it fine now?
Ma'am, your face is little dark, ma'am. That's all. Everything is good. Just see, ma'am. Saradi.
I suppose you need to turn a bit around, Nisha, because the light is actually focusing on you, because of which it is getting a bit dark.
Better.
It's much better now.
Can we start then? 1 second. I'll just change my position in case it.
Yes, ma'am.
better.
Please move opposite
second.
direction of
1
light.
second. 1 second. 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, does this makes better?
Now it's good, ma'am.
Fine, ma'am. Ma'am, can we start then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just share my screen.
Ma'am, just few minutes. So just join. I'll just give brief introduction. So a very good afternoon to one and all. So now we are moving on to the fourth session of Impact Lecture Series, Phase 2, Session 2. So today that now the session will be going on our IPR. I request Mr. P. Lazar, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmacy and Practice, to give a brief introduction on our today's speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so pleased to have a chance to introduce our speaker of the session, Ms. Neha Wadhwa, to the gatherings. Ma'am is a registered patent agent since from September 2013. She has sound knowledge in Indian patent laws for the drugs and molecules and US laws and the EP laws. Ma'am is currently working in AVP patent at Amira. It is a leading legal business right registration consultancy. She has more than 5 years of experience in IPR, especially in patents. Ma'am has more than 5 years experience in bioanalytical pharma with Sun Pharma Limited. Ma'am pursued her MSc Biotechnology from VIT University, Tamil Nadu, and BSc Biotechnology from Bangalore. Ma'am also has a LLB from Meerut University, online diploma in IPR from Geneva, Switzerland. Ma'am has a qualified women's scholarship scheme for IPR funded by Department of Biotechnology. Ma'am actively participated in various seminars and conferences. So, thank you for giving this opportunity. I'm introducing for this introduction. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you, sir, for a brief introduction. So, ma'am, shall I just a second, ma'am? I'll give you a co-host so that you can share your screen. Ma'am, now you can share your screen.
Okay.
Ma'am, just keep into presentation mode, ma'am.
Yes, 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it fine, ma'am?
Ma'am, you can just here F6 screen will be big, ma'am. Here, this the box.
F5.
Yes.
Is it fine, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can we start?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can proceed.
So basically today we are here to look into the aspects of how we can turn our IPs into the profit making assets. We already had a session with regard to the basic IPR. So here I would like to go to IPs one by one and would like to share my ideas that how they are beneficial and how it is valuable for us to turn them into the profits. So as we all know very well that IPs are of the different categories. I'll not go into the details of it since you already had a session for it. Just want to name it briefly that we shall discuss about the trademarks, patents, designs, IC layouts, copyrights, which you all are aware, plus one unregistered IPs also that include the databases, business information, trade secrets, the contracts. These are also the parts of the non-registrable IPs, but they are part of the IPs when we go for protection or we go for the profit-making aspects in our any technical area. So when this topic is there in front of us, which says that how do we turn our ideas or our IP into the profit-making assets, the question which runs into our mind is that what is basically the intellectual property, which obviously I am sure that you people are well aware of. And then how we can turn this IPs into the basic assets. The idea which I want to give you is that, for example, if we invest very much into the any kind of product, for example, if we say like I'm working in a lab and I'm trying to develop a composition or any kind of drug or any kind of molecule, trying to find out a new structure or isomer of any kind of molecule. So being science background, we are well aware of the fact that how much time it takes when we invest. Like we start with the review literature, make many efforts to formalize, standardize an SOP, which also obviously takes much amount of times of our. We validate our SOP, the kind of steps, parameters we want to imbibe in our protocol to make that particular compound or the molecule which we are looking for. And then we do the bioanalytical studies of the same to check the bioequivalence parameters or the regulatory parameters to meet the compliances of the regulatories. So this is basically not the easy task. You all are well known to it. It takes considerable amount of time which we invest in that particular drug molecule development and its delivery, so that it becomes live and then it can go into the further stages of clinical trial, and we can actually implement the same on the human beings or the animals. So all these years and all the kind of pain we have taken to make it successful is what is the need of the hour, that we can actually turn all this hard work into a IP by getting a patent on it, or by this was obviously example of a drug, so patent is the most suitable IP in it. And then once we get a patent on it, IP, we can make this asset a profitable to us by commercializing the same. The commercialization is actually the outcome of the hard work which we had invested in the long run in our wet lab, making a successful drug out of whatever protocols and whatever the standardizations we had done. So IP is basically a business tool. What I can say is that you had put your hard work into it and now you want to build profit out of it. The ways adhere to it, we can see in the coming slides. Now, as we can, we know that what a trademark is. It is obviously a sign which can be represented by any kind of label, heading, tickets, etc. So these are some of the trademarks. KFPL. These all are basically our clients for which we work. KFPL, it well, is a good startup. Kanpur Flower Private Limited. It is also promoted by and by the movie actors also, the Gen Robotics we normally see in the newspaper. So we do help them. We have helped them in keeping this, filing their registrations towards the trademark. And now this is a specific logo which each of this company has. These are the kind of trademark. When we are also running an organization, we have a company or a business, it is our prime duty also towards the investment which we are making, and it is also a benchmark in the terms of business also, that we file a registered patent, registered trademark for it in the IPO and get a specific notation that what our company or what our product is being related to. This is the identity which we need to establish, a niche which helps us to make the profit. How? That I'll tell you. Filing procedure is obviously, you all know that how we go about it. So the trademark, how we can commercialize. All the businesses have the trademark, we know it well, like any company. We also have this logo in the on the right hand side corner, which you can see is a logo of our company. Whenever we are done with any kind of registration, that makes a benchmark of us, that what that is basically a reflection for us, for reflection of us, for our work, that how we are using that. The best way to use in the business is, we can use in any kind of our advertisements, any kind of invoices which we are using, any kind of the Google ads, or the any case of conflicts, etc. We can understand one thing, that when there is a brand or when there is any kind of product, everything is like vicious circle. We have the work culture which helps in development of the trademark, IP, the good products, the brand value, the quality services, the marketing, everything is associated with that brand, and that comes out as a registration of the trademark. Now, if I have this trademark, obviously there is, I can sell it. The life of the same is the lifelong till our business is running. So the idea is, whenever we have a product similar to it, there is no one who can infringe to it, right? So this assessment, when I have registered something as a trademark, it becomes my property, my asset, and I can always earn a commercialized value from the same. And obviously you all know that infringement and the other clauses, that no other person has anything to be adhered to it. This registration is important because it is making me earn profit in terms of monetary terms. Whatever I have earned, whatever registrations, whatever products values I have adhered, it is coming into the market, it is coming in the public domain as an registered logo or registered name of the company, which is obviously being reflected when the product is being sold out also in the market. Every time the product is sold out, the kind of revenue which is being generated goes to the owner's name or the company's name. So that is an asset value which is being added up every time your product is being sold. Apart from it, this value which is being reflected by the name of your registration is also a flinch to the competitors also, which save you and obviously provide you money if someone provide you the monetary respect also, if someone is trying to copying it, or if someone is trying to cover the same thing which you have already done. So this acts as a good asset and helps you to give a strength to whatever has been invested to build this up IP. If we talk about the industrial design, so we all know that it is related to the protecting shape and aesthetic values, appearance of the product. duration is also well aware to us that it is 10 plus 5 years ka value. So herein are the examples of some of the popular designs. Some of us are being registered by us also. For example, this one. This is one of the suction spatula which is being used in the medical industry. Phones and the bottle shapes, of course, we all know. So we can understand one thing, that industrial designs do act as a potential trade risk. Like, for example, if we establish a monopoly over industrial design, we get it registered and get protection of the same, it eventually becomes the brand or the product identity, and it can be a lifelong also. For example, if we look that previously, if you are aware that phones were there, but when Apple introduced its user interface, it was being taken over by the other smartphone industries, and then Apple became the leading manufacturer of the smartphones and the related products in the industry. So the aesthetic value was added to the product. The monopoly it got, and the kind of business it had run by registering it as an IP, registering it as a design, we all are well aware of it. Since the IP was protected, it acted as an asset by the registration. The rights were being given to the applicant, and then is the terms of the business and the terms of the value additions which has been bought by the applicant to the market. We now very well understand that even if we, anytime when it runs to our mind that we want to buy a good smartphone, Apple is the one because of the features adherent to it. So how it has acted and how it has come up in the market is only because of its IP and the specific privileges and the advantages which it has shown. So protecting your IP gives you a benchmark that what special your features has it come, and asset value is there only when the commercialization turns up and business monetary term is being run up by the same, so that all the aesthetic values are added to your particular products and you get monetary terms of the same in the market. Copyrights also another form of IP. We know that it contains multiple things which can be protected under the purview of the same. It can be books, database, data models, etc. So how do this act? This works as an asset is that in terms of these strong publications, we make a publication, we get a copyright on it, then it there itself also. The duration is 60 years. So when we get a copyright over a particular publication, now every time, every music which has a copyright, every software which has a copyright, or every agreement which has a copyright gives me a particular monetary term by the user whenever it is being used anywhere in the public, on the social media, as an individual for any kind of purposes. So there is always a defined value which will be earned by me as a owner of the copyright, which gives me a good aesthetic value of my IP being a mirror of its asset. Now, if we want to take it as a more, so any kind of manuals also, since we are we are of the pharma and the life science background, we know that developing any kind of molecules required some substantial work, creating SOPs and all. So these SOPs or the presentation or the review articles, of course, we get it published in the journals and all. So this also, if any publishers or anyone wants to use, there are times that many of the times that the share value of using the same by some another author or by some another applicant gives us a monetary term which is being transferred to us for using our copyright. So the same is very much mandatory because a lot of work has been put in our copyrights, and obviously it turns out as an asset whenever it is being used by the other person. Now, the most the wide area of the IP, which I could say is a patent. We know that. So these are some of the techs which can be patented. It can be in the field of aircraft, submarines, robotics, drones, IT and cyber warfare, alternate propulsion technologies, etc. When we talk about the pharmaceutical and the biotechnology industry, we have the compositions, methods, genetically modified organisms, method of extraction, test strips, acid kits, etc. And then computing, of course, involves the apparatuses, systems, methods, algorithms, blockchains. These days, a lot of things are there, and also the other industries like electrical and the automobiles. If we talk specifically for the pharmaceutical, then again, we have use also, product of some drug also, method to make that product also, and then using it in the same in some for some specific purposes. This is normally done in the EP. The kind of claims we get. So now how? The patent will act as an asset on a very large scale. There are many terms and conditions which can be imbibed into this kind of IP, which gives us the monetary terms. For example, fundraising. Fundraising, I would say, is one of the most indispensable thing which has been come up these days, especially for the startups. Startups do give their idea and do get their registered IPs, which attract many of the investors or the licensors, which helps them to raise the fund so that they can again promote their businesses and promote their IPs. So getting a IP becomes a benchmark for the coming startup, and these days we can see everywhere, even on the LinkedIn also, even on the social media also, that there are many startups in the India specifically, which are growing up and which require this kind of monetization also. It is being promoted by, in many cases, by our Prime Minister also. You can see it anywhere. Few of the examples I can give you that for the companies like KFPL, Gen Robotics, Pradivya Softwares, etc. These are few of the companies which are drone companies, are also there in Node Innovations. These are continuously being supported by the Prime Minister, and they do get fundraised only because that they have registered their IPs, which is helping them acting as in their asset so that they can get the licenses or the fund raised to the same. And this helps obviously in promoting their business to them, and also to develop their R&Ds so that their products can be further raised by it. Then we all know that obviously the monopoly rights are being provided to any patentee, which excludes everyone to use the product or the process, etc. of the patentee. There is also a no to the product conversion till at least 20 years. So all the rights are of the patentee, and he can obviously, he or she can obviously make good funds out of it, commercialize it, be it in India. They can also give it to some of the licensee, which can be of multiple terms again, exclusive or the non-exclusive. For example, if I have a patent of for a particular, let's say monoclonal antibody, or any kind of pharmaceutical drug which is curing some specific fever, or let's say only corona, for example, I have that drug. So what I can do is, I being a patentee, I can always license it to some other companies in India or outside India, and I get a valuable share out of it. That is obviously being decided between the patentee and the licensee. So doing this, what I have done, what I get is that whatever hard work I had done in the lab to get particular that composition, I get a monetization of it. So whatever I had invested as my input, I can use it the same while my patent is granted in many forms to achieve or to obtain the values out of the same in terms of monetization. And then, of course, I can sell my patent also, and I can buy others' patents also. This also, again, helps us to gain the monetization terms with other people. So this is like kind of a brief thing. Patents are there, which we know that provide solution to the some technical problems related to it. Design, agreements in terms that with any kind of tech providers or the foreground IP, copyrights, IC layouts. This all can be run in a particular cycle or uh, are attached in a particular way, which can be licensed, and then the cycle can be completed in terms of building IPs and building assets out of it. So these are the things to be noted. Of course, we all know that secrecy directions which relate somewhere that which can be against to the rights of the company or to the assets of the company cannot be patented and are not good to be protected as an IPs. Then something related to atomic weapons and atomic energy related are also not good to be in compliances to be protected as IP. Section 3 of the Patent Act is there, which again has a multiple things which do not allow us to protect the same under the purview of the IP, etc. So this is like the we all got, I hope that we all got an idea that for patents, this is a kind of flow. We do interact, and then we do get a patent file at the IPO, and we get a set out of it. Same with the trademark, registering the same as a logo or any kind of mark. Then the copyright, publishing it, getting it marketed. Industrial designs, the final integration is one. So this all helps us to build the intangible assets which have the creation of minds which we have into the monetary monetizations. So this is all which is obviously existing on the paper, and then comes out in terms of agreements or in terms of licenses or in terms of commercialization products with some other competitors, and help us to develop and help us to act as an asset for us. So if we try to understand as a with a perspective of business, we can understand this way. We have started a business. When there is a business model, obviously there is a some specific formulas or some specific SOPs or some kind of secrets which we have, and which we are thinking to build our business on it. There is a clientele list to which we share the kind of ideas and kind of proposals which we have, the colleagues we have. With the help of all this channel, we develop products, we develop the services basically. There are money or the regulatory barriers which we need to cross, and this all is a circularization which helps us to form a IP and develop an asset out. So for startups, we have actually discussed before that startup is the main niche area these days, which is being helped and which is also being promoted by this way. The other benefits to them are that they do not have to pay. They have a tax exemptions under Section 80C, 80% rebate in patent official fee. They can get the fast track examination also and get grant within 3 months also. There is a connection between the investor and other startups, direct participation, etc. So the idea is to promote the evolving IP so that it is taken on a good track. We can always secure IPs on the worldwide ground also, be it be patent through Paris Convention, PCT, trademark by merit or direct, and then the copyright by the Berne Convention. So this was all from my end. In case there is anything specific which I can help out to you people, please let me know. Hello?
Ma'am. Ma'am, is the session over, ma'am?
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Is the session over, ma'am?
Yes. She asked whether if there are any doubts that needs to be clarified, please let her know so that she will be answering all those questions, whatever the doubt that normally arises.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I request all the delegates to post any questions. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. Ma'am, hope your session has been enlightening. Ma'am, just a small dot from my part, ma'am. Many of them now, because of conduction of some programs by the government and patent authorities, now a few of them are getting aware of patent and how to file a patent. But commercialization of patent is becoming a big task, ma'am. So can you suggest some ways for commercialization for better commercialization?
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Ma'am, just a second. Ma'am, actually, filing of patent is now being aware to many of them because of the programs conducted by some IIC, MHRD, and so on. But commercialization of patent is becoming a big task, ma'am. Many of them don't know how to exactly go for commercialization of a patent. Could you give some guidelines or suggestions regarding this regard, or how to commercialize a patent?
I suppose you are audible to me. However, Nisha is unable to hear. Is Nisha, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible to me, sir. Dhananjay, sir. You're audible, sir.
Okay, let me check with Nisha because she might need to disconnect and then log in once again. Because,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, she might be having a problem with her mic. Yeah,
okay, sir. So we'll wait for a few seconds, sir.
Now you are audible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I was saying, ma'am, this was the technical side from my end. In case there are specific questions or like, I just wanted to say that this is kind of one of the careers also, in case students or the researchers want to pursue with respect to the science or the pharma domain. So there are very much opportunities in case someone has specific question apart from the business angle or apart from the understanding angle. They can always contact me also. Like, my contact number is there. I can guide people separately. I didn't took it as a part of the session only for the reason that I'm not sure that if all are the students or all would be interested to know that angle also.
Ma'am, can you suggest some guidelines regarding commercialization of patent, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Commercialization that we had discussed in the slides, and that will go in terms of course, first obtaining the IP. Then we may take a channel of licensing the same. We can also take a channel of giving it as a compulsory license to someone. Basically, we can sell it also. We can buy if some other has a patent, then we can take it from other also. So this all will help us to add on to the money value to our asset. If I have my drug patented and I get it licensed, I give it to Roche or some other company. The idea is that we already enter into the agreement that this is my patent, and then they can Roche can pay me some value, some percent, 5% or 10%, whatever the agreement is being settled, and I get such amount on every sell of my particular drug whenever it is going in the market. This is one of the easiest way which happens. Then is that second way is that I am taking my patent as a whole, declining my rights to it, and transferring everything to other person, saying that it is yours, and in one go only I am earning, let's say, in CR values to it. That depends on the agreement negotiation which we are making.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for our accepting our proposal and being a part of the session, because your session enables most of the students, not only in because now filing of a patent has been not very thing, but now anything can be patented, any innovative idea. So that skills have been delivered by you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
So,
okay, ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Since you all are from the pharma background, so anything will only exclude one thing, like new form of any drug. For example, if we have a drug for, let's say, crocin is there already existing, and it has some particular drug molecule structure is already existing for it. Now, if I change only one of the groups, let's say I have changed only the methyl group, or I have added only a ester, it's not, yes, which is not adding any functionality change to it, only adding the structural change to my existing molecule. So that thing will not be patented.
okay.
Rest all you can go ahead to patent.
Ma'am, same molecule done in different formulation.
Done in different formulation can be assessed, but then again it depends that whether there should not be a single thing which should be existing, like the new formulation which you are making.
Okay, so that
Like this crocin which we are talking, for example, plus some excipients are already there. Now you have taken the same crocin plus some different excipients or any pharmaceutical carrier, which is resulting into a different functionality. This was for fever, and now this thing is covering up some other functionality. Then it can be patented. The different combination it will turn up, right?
okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you once again for accepting a proposal. So, as a token of our gratitude, I would like to, give a small of appreciation in the form of a certificate openly. So, from the management and our principal, Sir Dr. Jain Suresh Kumar, sir, I feel privileged to award you a certificate.
Thank you.
So, we'll give you by courier also. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting the
you.
proposal. So, now I request Ms. M. Ramateja, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmaceutics, to give a vote of thanks for the 2 sessions done morning and the afternoon.
Good afternoon to the Honorable Chief Guest, respected Principal Sir, staff members, and my dear students. I feel honored and privileged to get this opportunity to propose vote of thanks on the special event of Phase 2 Impact Lecture Series organized by Institution's Innovation Council, Naturopathy Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Initially, I would like to thank our Chairman Sir, Sri Mittapalli Venkatakrishna Garu, for his continuous support and encouragement to organize this lecture series. I thank our respected principal, Dr. Jain Suresh Kumar sir, without whom this event would not have come to existence. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to today's resource person, Mr. Suresh Kandagatla, CEO, co-founder, Biogenic Products Private Limited, Hyderabad. We are really enlightened with our presence, sir. On behalf of the organization, I would also extend my sincere thanks to our second speaker of the day, Ms. Nisha Wadhwa, Associate Vice Principal, President, Amara IP, New Delhi, for her excellent presentations and making this session interesting and meaningful. A special thanks to the IIC convener, Mrs. B. Swati, and faculty coordinators, Mr. M. Ramakrishna, Mr. Sheikh Mullah Mubin, who have made this lecture series a grand success. I am happy to express my thanks to all the teaching and non-teaching staff for their valuable contribution to make the Impact Lecture Series grand success. Our heartfelt thanks to the students for their active participation. I want to extend my sincere thanks to all the delegates who have attended the Impact Lecture Series Phase 2, Session 2 from various colleges of different states. A total of 500 plus delegates have participated in this conference. For continuous support in registering for both the session, I request all the delegates to continue the same for further programs conducted by our college. Once again, I thank all for your cordial cooperation. With these warm words, we will move to the end of our today's Impact Lecture Series. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for your once again thank for your kind acceptance and having an awareness session on our students regarding IPR, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
And
you.
thank you very much for giving us an opportunity for conducting a session in your organization.
Thank you, sir. We should be grateful also, as soon as immediately when we have asked, you have accepted a proposal and you have proceeded forward also. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Delegates, just a second. I'll just post the feedback link in the chat box. So the feedback link is posted in the chat box. So delegates can fill the form. Ma'am, you can leave, ma'am. If you have any work.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So delegates, once again, the feedback link is posted in the chat box. You can fill it. Not just the link provided. I thank all the delegates for the continued support for your kind participation in your session 1 and session 2. So we request your kind support in the future programs that is conducted by our organization, that is National Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Thank you, one and all.